Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Well, here the deepening chaos deepens further. The Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, has lost a vote of no confidence in his leadership by 172 MPs to 40. But he won't be resigning. In an emailed statement, he says the vote has no constitutional legitimacy and that he isn't about to betray those who elected him last year. For there to be a leadership, there has to be at least 50 Labour MPs uniting around an alternative candidate to set the wheels in motion. Here's our political correspondent, Michael Crick.
Can I say, colleagues, thank you very much for...
Jeremy Corbyn met his new shadow cabinet for the first time today, almost two-thirds of them fresh faces, though he soon regretted inviting the cameras in.
Seamus, I'm not sure this is a great idea.
This must have been an excruciatingly difficult day for the Labour leader. At 4:30 came the result. By 172 votes to 40, a margin of more than 4 to 1, his MPs declared they had no confidence in him.
I think this has been a devastating result for Jeremy Corbyn, and it's absolutely clear that the Parliamentary Labour Party, over 80% of them, have no confidence in his leadership going forward, have no confidence in his ability to win a general election.
I think Jeremy should do exactly what he wants to do. He has a huge mandate, the biggest mandate in the history of our party virtually, from up to 400,000 members. 172 of my colleagues have decided they've got no confidence in him. He'll hear what they have to say, but he might want to hear what the rest of the party has to say, and he's got the right to do that as a chosen leader. And if anybody else disagrees, well, they've got the right to put the hat in the ring against him.
And now that will almost certainly happen. Tom Watson is one of two possible challengers being mooted tonight. Popular with the grassroots and unions, he was elected Corbyn's deputy last year. And Angela Eagle, who resigned yesterday as Shadow Business Secretary. She lost to Watson last year, but is seen as being on the left and has performed well as Corbyn's stand-in at question time. It's reported Watson and Eagle tonight discussed which one should stand against Corbyn.
We do need a unifying candidate to step forward and somebody who can bring all parts of the party together, who is able to communicate within the membership of elected Labour MPs, but also to the wider membership, bring on board the trade unions as well.
The party now faces a legal row over whether Corbyn would be a candidate automatically or would need 50 or so MPs and MEPs to nominate him. Not easy given today's vote. In April, the Labour General Secretary got advice from a barrister, Mark Henderson, which we've obtained. Henderson declared,
"I do not consider that an incumbent requires nomination in order to appear on the ballot against a challenger."
He added,
"In the case of an election for leader, where there is no vacancy, the incumbent is automatically on the ballot paper along with the challengers."
Corbyn's critics claim counter-advice. But his friends cite last night's hastily arranged rally by 1,000 or so Corbyn supporters in Parliament Square as evidence he has backing from the grassroots, though many there were members of other socialist parties.
I absolutely pledge my allegiance to my leader until there is a leadership election, and if I see a better candidate in that leadership election, I might vote for them. But at the moment, there isn't one. At the moment, what we have is a Labour opposition that must do its job of opposing.
And tonight, Corbyn fights on. He's just said today's vote by MPs has, quote, no constitutional legitimacy. And he urged everyone to unite behind him at what he calls a critical time for the country.
Well, we'll talk more about Labour's troubles shortly, but incidentally, just now we've learned that Liz McInnes, a junior shadow minister, has resigned from Corbyn's midst. Now, it's not just Labour going through the paroxysm of leadership crisis with the Prime Minister's job up for grabs. The Tory runners and riders are starting to emerge. George Osborne won't stand. But among the maybes are Theresa May, Liam Fox, Stephen Crabb, and the bookie's favourite, Boris Johnson. Michael Crick is still with me. Michael,
Well, this is an extraordinary time, John. I don't think in British history there's ever been a time where both the government party and the main opposition party have been holding leadership elections simultaneously. And today and yesterday at Westminster, you've seen MPs. Obviously, this is a major consideration for them. And of course, nowadays, now the parties allow the ordinary members to make the final choice. They're engaged really in the black arts of the shortlist. They have to whittle the shortlist down to present to the party members, be they Conservative or Labour, and they have to be very skilled at it and try and work out who it is best to present on the shortlist to bring the result they want. Now, the Conservatives, as you were saying, obviously Theresa May and Boris Johnson are standing. Stephen Crabb has made it clear he's going to stand as well on a joint ticket with the Business Secretary, Sajid Javid. And, as you say, Jeremy Hunt, Nicky Morgan and Liam Fox are also likely to stand. Good news for Boris Johnson today. He got support from Nicholas Soames, who in recent weeks has been on the other side of the referendum and has been highly critical of Boris Johnson, although he always regards him as a lifelong friend. We also heard news that the timetable has been changed slightly. It was announced yesterday we could get a result by September the 2nd. They've now, the Conservative board say, it might be as late as September the 9th. But frankly, if the Conservative MPs manage to whittle their shortlist down to the 2 names required to put to the membership in the ballots that are expected on Tuesday and Thursday of next week, if they get it down to 2 by the end of next week, we could actually get a result and a new Prime Minister a lot earlier than September the 9th, possibly in mid-August. Who knows? The other interesting development today is this whole question about whether there's likely to be a snap election. Now, Boris Johnson, his camp were thought to favour that. Now they're making it clear that he doesn't necessarily favour a snap election. And, of course, that's the reason why there's been so much, or one of the reasons why Corbyn's critics have been on the attack, and one of the reasons why they say he has to go, because they think will do badly in such an election.
Michael Crick, you could write a book. Thank you very much.
I might do.
Yeah. Let's go back to discuss the state of the Labour Party after the no confidence in Jeremy Corbyn this afternoon. I'm joined by Labour MP Andy Slaughter, who resigned yesterday from his position as Shadow Justice Minister, Angela Rayner, the newly appointed Shadow Minister for Women and Equalities, and Alistair Campbell, the former Director of Communications for the Labour Party. And let me just start with you, Andy Slaughter, because it's interesting. You didn't decide for yourself. You went back to your constituency. Very briefly, what did you find when you asked them whether they wanted Mr Corbyn anymore?
Well, it is my decision, but I thought I ought to consult. I've had about 300 emails from party members, constituents in any event. They split about 2/3, 1/3 in favour of Jeremy going. But then the people I really want to talk to are my councillors who are elected, my party officers, the people who know my electorate and who work for me, and they split 10-1 in favour of Jeremy going.
There's about 70 of them?
Yeah, about 70 of them.
Right, and you've decided, although you were backing Andy Burnham, a rather different figure from Jeremy Corbyn, you've decided you must do it. For why?
Well, for me, Jeremy has a mandate to lead the party at the moment, and the membership made that decision less than 12 months ago. So for me, it was about trying to bring party unity, which is not there at the moment, unfortunately, but more importantly, about steering the ship, because the government left us without a captain of the ship, out at sea, without any life jackets.
But all your
and
sailors
that's
have gone
outrageous.
overboard. All your sailors have gone overboard. I mean, this is no ship, this is a sinking tub.
Well, for me, it's about holding the government to account, and the things that I've been doing today, like I attended a pensions briefing earlier and spoke to the market about some of the real concerns, like the AAA rating that the UK has lost. So it's about holding the government to account and doing the job that I was elected to do.
Yeah, but we're into, I mean, 172-40, absolutely no confidence. They like the man, but he cannot lead.
But we knew that the Parliamentary Labour Party had a problem with Jeremy. I think that was well documented, and it's about what the party membership and the wider constituents think.
Okay,
and I think that they will get their opportunity now.
Let's get some Labour perspective from Alistair Campbell. I mean, you wrote the Tablets of Stone in the early days of the Blair administration. Come down from the mountain. What do you see?
I see us heading over a cliff, unless we're very, very careful. And I certainly see a general election coming down the track, whether Boris Johnson wants one or not.
How soon?
Soon, because the country's not going to take him, especially having won a campaign on a pack of lies, suddenly comes in as Prime Minister and we just say, carry on, you're on. Don't forget, this referendum from his perspective was partly about saying we, the British people, should choose the people in charge of us. So he can hardly come in on the shrinking Tory membership.
But Labour would be in no shape whatever to fight such an
Absolutely
election.
not. We would. There's a real risk we would get absolutely wiped out. And I mean, I understand what Angela's saying, but the reality is that Jeremy Corbyn, this wasn't just about his woeful campaigning in the referendum. The people who were resigning in the last 48 hours, they have tried to make it work, and they've seen, as you were indicating, he cannot do the job. His
but
only
as Angela
job.
Rayner says, it's not the MPs who elected him anyway. It's the party faithful.
That may be the case, but I think that if they are happy with the direction of the party, and this is becoming almost like a sect. It's about him, not the Labour Party, and the opposition has never been more needed than it is now.
Andy Slaughter, would you be prepared to nominate a successor? Are you prepared to sign nomination papers?
I'm going to wait. There are lots of very talented people who have those leadership skills.
Are you one of those people?
I'm not one of those people. In the Parliamentary Labour Party, it has lost confidence in Jeremy. I'm sorry about that, because I do think he's a good guy.
But
he's
you've
just
been
not,
in there. You've been in there long
says,
enough. You can surely say, look, I've seen 2 or 3 people who really are outstanding leaders.
You need really special skills. Alistair may have looked easy in his day. They do exist in the Parliamentary Labour Party, and for the country, as Alistair says, we do need to show that leadership. That's what's changed in the last 2 weeks.
Stick your neck out, Alistair. Who's the next leader of the Labour Party? Alan Johnson?
Listen, I would love it if people like Alan Johnson and Hilary Benn. I'd actually quite like it if David Miliband was still around, but he's not. I think there has to be a woman. I think Angela Eagle or somebody like that should probably have their hat in the ring. There are probably people that I don't know very well because I've not been in there for a time. But the reality is anything is better than this. And the thing about the other answer to your question is you never really know fully about leadership until they're in positions of leadership. And what we know, having seen Jeremy Corbyn in a position of leadership for some time, he cannot do the job.
Right.
And if he is a decent man, he should do the decent thing and go.
Angela Rayner, you've heard this conversation going on round Westminster time and time again. Something has to be done, and yet you are perhaps propping up the nothing will be done camp.
What I've been doing is listening to my constituents. I went back to my constituency, I spoke to people, and it's fair to say there are some people that are critical of Jeremy.
We're talking Stockport, Outer Manchester, etc.
We're talking Ashton on the Line, Tameside, Oldham.
Yeah. And they're saying they love Jeremy, they want him as their leader.
Some of them are saying that, some of them are saying absolutely not. But overwhelmingly, what they're saying is they're fed up of politicians telling them what they want. They want us to listen to them for a change, and that's what I intend to do. And if they decide that Jeremy's not going to be our leader, then that's their decision, not for me to make. I will support our democratically elected leader. A divided party, as Alistair knows, never wins elections.
Angela Rayner, Andy, thank you very much, and Alistair.
I've been